Hey friends, welcome back to Castro Valley News Live, where we discuss topics of the day, and we have a open phone line for you to ring in if you have any comments, concerns, questions, or topics you would like to bring up to us. If you'd like to call in, the number is 510-331-9112. That'll get you directly to us here. I'm sorry, me, the one person. It's singular, not plural. My name is Robert, and welcome to our 8th episode of Castro Valley News Live. We don't have a guest tonight, but I do have a couple topics that I was going to bring up to you, a couple items and bits of information. We have a new magazine coming out pretty soon, within the next week or so, and we need to pick your brains because normally we deliver the magazine to businesses across town, and obviously that's going to be problematic because most businesses are closed. There are a few businesses that are kind of staple locations that we do deliver to, and we'll continue to deliver to those spots. Places like Pete's Hardware, Al's Market, Lake Chabot, the public market, Lake Chabot Public Market. I'm trying to think, probably Safeway at 580. But if there are other locations that you can think of that would be really easy and handy for everyone to get to, and we want to do this in a way where we're respecting the shelter in place and not doing anything that's enticing people to leave home. But we do want to get this new magazine out to you folks. We've been working on it. Gosh, I think it's maybe a month, and this is a good magazine. This has got some really good content, some good stories in there. I really want to tell you about one, but I'm going to wait because it's really, really cool, and it's something that a buddy kind of stumbled upon and told me about. But if you could, kind of put your thinking cap on and think of some strategic places where we could, do a magazine drop for you guys to pick up the new magazine. And we'll probably end up putting together probably like a Google map, or I'll put a map in Photoshop and let you guys know where the those drop spots will be. But please let us know if you have any ideas on kind of central locations that are public, maybe a park. Um, what else would be a good location? Probably a spot in the village, and we'd have to probably brainstorm and think of a good spot in the village to leave them at. But like I said, just kind of maybe, I don't know, 10 to 15 strategic spots that are, geographically easy for everyone, or most everyone in Castro Valley to get to. Like I said, again, I'm going to toot my own horn. This magazine's a good one, guys. You definitely want to see this one. There's a lot of good content in this one. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue publishing and producing and selling ads in the magazine. We don't have a set schedule, which is easier for us than some other publications. And like I said, this is a great magazine. You want to get your hands on this one. There's just some killer content in it. So please, if you could, if you feel inclined to, put some thought into central locations or easy to get to locations in Castro Valley where we could make some drop spots for the magazine. I'm thinking probably CVS, the pharmacy, they're still open. What else? El Rancho over on Redwood. Leaving magazines at Trader Joe's doesn't really work. There's not really a spot in there that we can put them at. There's a bench outside that might be a good idea. But please, I'm going in circles with this again. Please throw a comment out there, and within the next couple days, we'll put a post out there asking directly for your suggestions on where to do these kind of improvised quarantine magazine drop spots. Downtown Hayward. Well, we could we could leave a couple down there. 98th, and email share instead of the magazine. If you're asking to do a suggestion, absolutely. Sarah suggested do an email share instead. I'm assuming that's for an idea of the drop spot. Sure, shoot me an email at Castro Valley Television at gmail.com and shoot me an email with your suggestion. CVS is pretty central. That's definitely going to be a good drop spot. Matella mentioned, and we usually leave the magazines there. But I want to make sure that we have these drop spots in locations where it's going to be a little easier for you guys to get to, and not something where we're enticing you to break the quarantine, because I think the shelter in place is super important and will continue to be super important. And I know that's a topic that's been pretty divisive among our community and across the United States. Don mentioned Walgreens in the Village. We can definitely leave some there. We've never left them there before, but I will go inside and mention. I think that's actually a great spot to leave some in the Village, because there's really not too many other places that are open in the Village. Let me think. I think Sherry's is just open for takeout, but Walgreens is a great idea because their doors are open. The Seaveed Library is a good place to leave them. They are closed, but we can leave some there. Thank you, Indy, for the suggestion. And now that you mentioned the library, I see the library closed every day, and I just really miss being able to go in there and see, frankly, I have friends that work at the bookstore in the library, and staff people. It's just, I can't wait for the library to open again. So please feel free to post, and thank you to the folks who brought up those spots. Those are great. We'll add those to the list. And like I said, the closer we get to delivery day, we will have probably a map letting you know the drop spots. There probably won't be too many of them, but we'll definitely know where they're going to. We'll let you know where they're going to be, because we want you to get the magazine. It's, like I said, it's a good one. Yes, we will put up a Google map or a photoshopped map with X's on it to let you guys know, like somebody said, in front of Bancheros. That's, I don't think there's too much foot traffic over there, but it's a good suggestion. If only Bancheros were still open. And yeah, good old Bancheros. So again, last time, feel free to brainstorm and suggest drop spots for us to leave the new Castro Valley News magazine. That will be coming out very soon. And an additional feature is the website. Our subscribers to our website get free home delivery, which is an additional little feature. And we will post up, if you want to be a subscriber, it's like a couple bucks to be a subscriber, which helps us keep going and put food on our tables. If you want to do that, we'll post up the link to be a subscriber. And I can't stress enough, we have, gosh, I don't know off the top of my head, maybe a couple dozen subscribers, people who have graciously and wonderfully opted to throw a couple bucks our way to be a subscriber, and you gain access to, there's a separate site from the Castro Valley News site. It's called the Castro Valley Newsroom. you get access to that, and that's basically the editors put up things that are stories, thoughts, things that we're thinking of, books that we're reading. It's basically kind of a think tank for Castro Valley News, where we exchange ideas and concepts and stories. And I got distracted. I'm sorry, because there's some more suggestions for drop spots at each Safeway. Definitely, we should. We usually leave them there. When we do that, we'll let you know where they will be, because sometimes it's kind of difficult to find locations that are easy for shoppers. Aaron's Art Studio, Christy mentioned that. Hi, Christy. I haven't seen Christy in a long time. I hope you're doing well. I saw Mitch the other day, and he not the other day. It was a while ago. Mitch Rothbart, who owns fitness. It's a gym over on. I'm going to say Redwood, and it's not the right road. But I saw Mitch in his gym the other day, and Christy mentioned possibly leaving some at Aaron's. We could leave a couple on the door, because it is a good location that people see in the village. And how weird is it to see the village just basically empty? There's, I think the Starbucks there is doing takeout, but gosh, I can't imagine how difficult this is for all the small business owners. And I know there was another big package of funding approved by the government today. And let me scroll over here and let me find it, so I don't speak out of turn and don't give the wrong number. It is, hang on, bear with me. This page is loading so slow. That's right. Thank you, Christy. It's Rothbart, Castro Valley Fitness on Grove. For some reason, I want to call that name Redwood, and it's Grove. Yeah, I saw Mitch a while ago, and it was good to see him. So the Senate approved the $480 billion package to help small businesses and hospitals, and I hope that gets to as many small businesses and heals some of the hurt. We got a call coming in here. Hello.
Hello. So you were talking about small business and the loans, and so I wanted to see if there were any small businesses out there that actually had received the small business loans to date, or anybody who had a story about them.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion.
Yeah, I'm calling from a small business myself, and we did sign in for one and work with our bank with one, but the whole process has really gotten bogged down, and it's not something that we really feel is we're going to see within our small business. But I was really curious if there were any people out there with stories of actually receiving or going fully through the PPP process, and if any local businesses have done that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from anyone who's either considered that or going through that at this time.
Absolutely. Yeah, our whole approach had been to submit information, and we did it on time, and we did it right on the single day that the bank was open with it. However, the kickback is that the bank basically ran completely out of funds for that time and that purpose, and now they have a whole new level of oversight and application that's been layered on top of that, which is a real interesting thing for a small business, a micro-sized business. So really curious if anybody else in the community had actually successfully gotten a business loan.
Yeah, it would be great to hear from. Thank you.
With that, I'll take my answer off the air. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, has anybody out there, and I see there's a couple, I would assume maybe Christy would know if Mitch has, or there was someone who mentioned that another business. Has anybody applied for these, for any of this funding? I would just imagine that the demand is probably just astronomical. and I'm sure the requests and Matella said that she has not heard of one single actual small business get approved, and I haven't heard of any either. Um, I did, our caller just mentioned, as soon as I think as soon as the program was implemented, from what I've heard from numerous stories, the funding was just basically earmarked extremely fast, which I could imagine with the extremely immense amount of businesses that have been shuttered because of the shelter in place. And from what I've been hearing, on the radio and in numerous news stories, there is just it's kind of a, trying to say this delicately and nicely. There's a huge tug of war between, maybe not a tug of war, but it's a tug of war between, the people who want to open up and the folks who want to make sure that enormous amounts of people don't get sick. We have another caller here. Hey there. This is Castro Valley News.
Hi, this is Angela.
Hey, Angela. How are you?
Good.
What's on your mind?
I was just calling in. I responding to the request to call in to discuss the PPP grant process, loan process.
Great. Thank you for calling.
Sure.
What insight do you have?
I applied on April 3rd, the day it opened, through Chase Bank. And I have all my business accounts through Chase Bank. And they didn't open until like 10 that morning. I stayed up until midnight trying to get in right away. And Chase Bank didn't open until sometime between 10 and 10:30 on the 3rd. And so I applied right away. And I got a call on April 4th from a Chase banker, not in anywhere local. I mean, it was some long distance number, East Coast or something, that called late afternoon on the 4th, and we processed all the paperwork, and I got paid on the 8th.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't big. It's not I'm a very micro business at this stage in the game. It was 2.5 times one monthly payroll, and so it has to go towards 2 months of payroll. So the 0.5% or 0.5 that's left is allowed to be for other expenses. It barely covered 1 month of rent.
Wow.
So, I'm grateful. I'm immensely grateful. But, that's my story.
Wow. So you mentioned you're a micro business, so you do have employees, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So it paid for your employees and.
Correct. And basically 1 month of rent.
So was it 1 month of your payroll and 1 month of rent, or what was the breakdown?
No. So PPP, the Payroll Protection Plan, is 2.5 times one monthly payroll cycle. So it has to go for 8 weeks or 2 months of payroll. And then you have the remaining 0.5. So that's 25% of the overall grant, right? That can go towards something other than payroll.
Okay. Wow. So that kind of floats you along for a little bit.
Well, you got me through one month, and I sublease. So my landlord is talking to our overall landlord about whether or not we're going to get any type of a break, because technically a lot of mortgages are able to put off payments. Like, they're not forgiven,
mm-hmm.
but they can put off payments for up to 6 months. And so if they would cut some of that down towards their lessees, that would certainly help us be able to keep doors open when this comes back, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm out 3 months of lease with no ability to make income, I don't know how that's going to happen.
And then at the end of that 6 months, you end up with kind of a whopping 6 months that you have of back that you have
still have to turn around and pay. That's right. Gosh. Exactly. And that would not be possible for my business.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, praying that some of these landlords that are able to get their mortgage company, I'm not asking them to take it the chin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they can, get the forbearance of their payments for 3 months to 6 months, if they can pass that down to their tenants, again, extend the lease if you need to, right? Don't let them out of the lease just because they couldn't pay for 6 months. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to have to take it in shorts, but that way everybody kind of gets a little bit of benefit.
Yeah. Without being specific, what kind of business do you have?
Healthcare.
Okay.
But it's private office, so we had to close. We're not considered essential.
Gotcha. So immediately at the when the shelter in place came down, you had to lay off your employees?
Correct. And I was actually out a week before the former shelter in place because I was sick.
Oh, hopefully not. Hopefully not related.
I don't know. We couldn't get testing in time.
I heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah. Now we're waiting for the antibody testing. So we'll know.
I had a friend, her significant other was extremely ill, and it took forever for any testing to happen. And it was just, I was, from what I heard from her, I'm like, why are they not testing him?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, so in the beginning, it was lack of availability of tests. They weren't just being dicks. They just literally didn't have them. So they were saving them for the people that were in the ER.
Right.
And which, none of us wanted to have to go to the ER, especially just to get tested. But what we're looking at now is trying to do the antibody testing to find out whether or not you've already been exposed and developed antibodies against it. But everybody in my office, so again, I so there's other medical people in the office. All my coworkers were sick for the entire middle of January through mid-February. I was the last one to get it. So it's been around for a while. This wasn't a new thing in March.
I think it has too.
Yeah.
I think you
can talk to ER docs too. They'll tell you the same thing.
I think it's been around much longer than people are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least late December, possibly earlier. We've been talking with a lot of ER docs, and there's research now coming into databases, but in terms of data in California, it's something that's called influenza-like illness, or ILI. And so all they're doing is trying to go back through 8 years or 10 years of ILI reported data and find out if there was a fluctuation this past flu season.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, there was a massive, massive spike. This is research that's being done already. But there's a massive spike in ILI illnesses in California, but our spike was at the end of December. So the spike was at the end of December. It actually started before that, and I couldn't see, the charts were so tiny, I couldn't see if it was early December or late November that we started seeing the reports. So in order for that to be confirmed that it actually was COVID, they'd actually have to go back into blood samples and supplies that were taken in past periods of time to try to confirm. It's pretty difficult, but I mean, they can go backwards that way and try and find out. But one might then sarcastically say, is it in some people's best interest to go back and prove it was already here? Because the story is trying to be made that, it wasn't. So,
right. But
even if we're going with the same storyline that it's possible it came from Wuhan and all of that,
mm-hmm.
They had it in early November. So it would not be beyond thinking that we had it mid to late November, because we have flights directly into SFO on a regular basis or daily.
Right.
So anyway,
it could have came from a different location to that location. There's so much that we don't know, and I think that's really a lot of what's fueling a lot of the
fear, because there's a lot of unknown, there's a lot of speculation, and the whole lack of being tested, that just kicked up more fear. I mean, even on my part, it kicked up more fear for us. Is it not? I mean, obviously, I knew I couldn't be in the office and shouldn't be in the office, but it didn't pass over like a normal flu. It hung on too much, too long, so anyway, having answers would have been nice.
Yeah. Well, I think another thing is the fact that the testing is so not available is not like a psychological buffer in our minds where like, well, if I get sick, I can go get tested. And no,
Sure.
we can't
Sure.
do. I mean, and nothing is a worse motivator than fear.
Correct.
Which we
and you and I both know the media kicked into that whole cycle and
yes,
tried to spur up the fear and blame and all the other games that were going on.
That's what the media does, unfortunately, and it's it's my tribe, and there's so much.
We don't need that.
No,
we don't need that. No. It was bad enough as it was. We were all living it. We didn't need the daily reminders of where our brain needed to go. So I think that's what's made a lot of people catatonic, right?
Totally, absolutely, yeah.
So anyway,
well, I really appreciate your story, and I'm glad that you're well, and
very, thank you.
Good.
And hopefully I did have it, and hopefully we're done with it, so we can be part of the herd coming back out to help everybody avoid. Someone actually on the East Coast contacted me because I've been nonstop on the phone with colleagues all over the country talking about their experiences and what they've been going on. They said that we're right smack in the middle of one of the biggest outbreaks in the area in Hayward.
Really?
So yeah, I don't know if you've been tracking that data, but they're like, they're looking at my zip code on the map, and my business zip is right here in Castro Valley. And so they're like, yeah, you're like right on top of one of the biggest outbreaks. And I'm just wondering if it's the data being reported from, say, the hospital, but don't they report the patient address, not where the treatment's being given?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay. So just thought I'd tell you that because I figured you already knew that.
You got me on that one.
No, I meant just knowing that we're on the hotbed.
Based on what happened with those two care homes, that was kind of an indicator. And
we had a big blow up in Castro Valley too.
Yeah. I mean, that was huge, and also the one in Hayward. But I mean that right. One is.
I did hear about that one. Yeah.
The one in Castro Valley is right next to the hospital, which and it's. I mean, I know what I'm saying is probably going to fuel a little bit of paranoia, but it was my first thought. That's like you're not even a block away from Castro Valley Boulevard.
Yeah, but when it gets down to it, and trust me, my brain's been through all the fear cycles and all the paranoia and everything else. And I just keep coming back to, you know what? No. It's going to pass through air conditioning systems, yes, which is why airplanes are a nightmare, which is why my poor son sitting on a submarine in the middle of the Pacific Ocean is a nightmare. Air ventilation systems, yes. Surfaces, especially indoors, like high-frequency turnover door handles and things like that, yes. Mm-hmm. And for all the chaos of their shutting down trails and other things, like, are you kidding me? Being outside is the best possible thing we can do. That's the least possible way of contracting this. Is the fresh air. It's the fresh air.
I think the thought with that is that there's people are getting cabin fever, and people are gonna be very close to each other. And
you know what? You and I are big people, right? We get it. If you say to people, you can continue helping this if you really, really focus hard on the 6-foot rule. I just went out to the Hayward shoreline this afternoon with my husband because, yes, I have cabin fever. I was locked down for over a week before everybody else started getting locked down. I have massive cabin fever and depression over the loss of income and everything else. But we went out to the Hayward shoreline, and people were wonderful. The paths are wide. People are staying far apart from each other, and I could take the dogs out, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear people are playing their part.
Oh, yeah. And don't lie to people. Don't tell them masks don't work. How about just be big boy and say, we need these masks for hospital personnel in order to save their lives because of the frequent exposure. Yep. You can, help yourself by wearing 2 covered sheet, cotton ply masks that you can make at home, and I'll educate people. Don't lie. People are smart. When you lie, they know you're lying, so they're not going to believe when you tell them the truth.
Yeah, yeah, you ruin it.
Yeah, they did. When totally. The, Surgeon General comes out and says masks won't help, I literally started laughing.
Oh, that was there were CDC said one thing, then and it was like I don't know. I just started. I just started improvising masks with a T-shirt and shop towels, and kept doing it.
Yep.
Because I didn't want the
Absolutely.
instance where if I was out without a mask and I sneezed or if I coughed,
everybody runs.
Well, exactly, and I honestly don't know if I have it or not, so I don't want to be that guy who's out there and does that. Yeah,
especially with your nature of business, you need to be out and about. You need to be around people, so you're gonna have to be extra cautious.
Yeah, but I've it's my responsibility, just as everyone else's, to honor the shelter in place and do everything that I can to
everything that you can. But your media is allowed to be out.
Yeah, we're supposedly exempt, but I mean, yeah.
But you still have to be responsible.
Absolutely, totally, completely, yes.
Yep. Otherwise, you're harming your community.
That is the truth. That is the truth.
Well, good chatting with you. It's been too long. Hope you're good.
I'm doing well. I'm glad you're good too. Thank you, Angela.
You bet.
Take care now. So there was a call from someone who did apply for funding and did get it. And that is good news. One of the things that Angela had mentioned that I wanted to bring up is I actually just heard this today, and I'm sorry, someone else was calling in while we were talking to Angela. I apologize to that person. If you like, give me a ring back and we'll talk. But leading into just the human factor of us being sheltered in place, and a lot of people are being isolated, and this really, I'm sorry, this is breaking my heart right now to think of these senior citizens that are isolated. Excuse me, I'm going to get my composure back here. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry. According to Kaiser, they did a study. Half of people in the United States say that their mental health has been affected negatively during or by the shelter in place, and it doesn't have to do just with isolation. It has to do with people being laid off. Folks, their savings are depleted. Their businesses are closed. Just the general economic situation, and that's a huge number. And that's Kaiser who did that study. Half of people in the United States, and I mean, if you tried to include the entire world, that's huge. And this situation is even more vital to senior citizens who may be isolated and feel alone. If you can, I said this every other live episode that we've done. Please, if you have a neighbor, any neighbor, check in with them, especially a senior citizen. A lot of times, here's the call. Hang on, sorry. Hey, this is Castro Valley News Live.
Hey, this is Mitch Rothbart.
Hey, Mitch, how you doing?
Hey.
I'm sorry, I'm good. I completely forgot what what street name your gym is on. I keep wanting to call it Redwood.
That's all right. It's kind of off of there, so that's all right.
But it's Grove, right?
Yeah, it's on Grove. Right on Grove, right in the quick stop little center or whatever you want to call that. But that's where we are.
Yep. And you're closed now, right?
Yeah, we're closed. We're doing online training, through Zoom, and that's what we're doing. So we have a number of clients that are doing that right now.
Great.
But that's it. No one can come into the gym right now. So
yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. We're making it through okay. We'll get through it. It's not going to be easy, but we will get through it. A lot of our clients are still in touch, and I'm doing my best to kind of keep in touch with them and get us all through it. Because it's not been easy on anyone. No, this is nuts. This is just crazy. Yeah, it is. I applied for those loans, so I wanted to give you my experiences on them, which is a pretty quick conversation. There is no experience. I applied and haven't heard back on either of them yet.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the PPP loan, I went through Wells. I wasn't even able to apply until, I think it was about a week and a half ago, which was the day before they officially announced that they were out of money. Because they weren't letting everyone just apply all at once. You had to kind of wait in line. And I'm one of a very small business, and the loan that I'm getting compared to some of the others is a drop in the bucket, but we can't get it. And then the EIDL loan also, I applied for that, I think the day it opened up, and I haven't heard a thing on that. So that's where we are with that stuff. And yeah, so that's where we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you mention, are you going to apply for the new one that was just approved?
Well, the Wells Fargo, I do get updated emails from them, and they're saying that as soon as there's more money that can get into the queue, then they'll just take the applications from there. And I'm in the line, so I don't know how far in the line, probably a long way from the beginning.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens, we'll see. That's all I can say. I'm not holding my breath on either of them, but if it happens, then it happens. So we'll see.
Well, I hope it does.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough around here right now. I mean, all my clients everyone's just in a weird space. Yeah. And I think the thing that's, at least as far as our clients and all the people I'm talking to, is that it's the uncertainty of the whole thing that's really getting to people.
Yeah.
No one knows who. Yeah.
There's so much unknown. We know so very little about the virus itself, and we don't know. There's the availability of testing is so slim that we don't know if we have it or not, and it's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. So it's like we can everything that anyone is saying is a guess.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into other stuff, but that's the problem. It's like there's just no.
We're all in the dark.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the issue. So no one knows really what the right thing to do is at this point. So it's all guessing, and it's getting to people. It's getting to people mentally. It's obviously getting into people with their jobs and just their lives, and it's upsetting, but it is what it is. Where we are now. So
yeah,
just gotta get through it.
We will. There's another side to this, and we'll get there. And we're all in this. We're all in this together. I know it's the saying that everyone says, but it's true.
No, it's definitely true, and I think that just what I think everyone kind of understands that. So it's like you're seeing lines outside Trader Joe's and Costco and all this other stuff, and everyone's just kind of waiting because they know what's going on. I think there's a level of tolerance for certain things because everyone just knows how crazy everything is, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, it's amazing that we're all finding some sort of normalcy in this.
Yeah, humans have the ability to adapt to certain things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Mitch, I'm glad you're doing well, and you've got my number. If you need anything, just give me a ring, and let's stick together.
That sounds good.
Cool. Thank you, Mitch. Take care.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So there's another story for the grants that Mitch Rothbart on Grove has Rothbart Fitness on Grove. And when the shelter in place is lifted, give him a visit. He's a real nice guy. I've known him for a long time. But like I was mentioning, getting back to the Kaiser study, half of people in the United States say that their mental health has been affected negatively during or by the shelter in place, and that's huge. That's huge. And we've got to stick together and help each other stay afloat during this troubled time, and especially for the seniors. It can't be stressed enough the importance to reach out to each other and just say, hey, how you doing? How are things going for you? Especially for the seniors, and because it's different for them. Sometimes they feel helpless, and with helpless comes hopeless. And I think it's really, really vital that we reach out to our senior citizen neighbors, let them know that they are still important and that we care about them. And I'm gonna lose it again. So someone on the chat, on the comments, mentioned that they wanted to see the link to be a sponsor for Castro Valley News. I'm assuming our moderator is on top of it. I'm sure he shared it, but if you could share it again, moderator, the link for folks to be a sponsor if they would like to. Basically, if you become a sponsor for Castro Valley News, you just throw a couple bucks our way. It's not a lot, and there's different levels that you can dedicate to be a sponsor, a member sponsor, and you get home delivery of the magazine, which, like I said, we have a new magazine coming out in about a week or so. I'll let you guys know on the page. The state of California have put together a new website that has a ton of resources, including if you would like to volunteer to deliver meals to people in need, if you would like to donate to a shelter or a food bank, volunteer at a food bank, or support legitimate nonprofits, or help with wellness checks on older neighbors, or help create hygiene kits or donate blood. The state of California have a website that is kind of a go-to for all of those resources, and that is californiavolunteers.ca.gov/get involved/COVID-19. That's kind of a long one to remember. I'll give it to you one more time. That's californiavolunteers.ca.gov/get-involved/COVID-19 /. And our admin will find that, and I'm sorry, our moderator will find that and post that on the chat for you to look up should you need to find any of those resources. And kind of adding on to the topic of resources, if you are in need or would like to donate, the Alameda County Food Bank is doing their best to make sure that every community can have consistent and safe access to food. You can visit their website at accfb.org. That's accfb.org. Or you can call them at 510-635-3663. One more time, 510-635-3663 for more information. Their food distribution is increasing, obviously, to expand distribution sites, and they are working to partner with agencies and 9 school districts to ensure our community has access to food. They are also increasing production of their emergency food bags that contain a few days worth of shelf-stable groceries. They do a ton of great work. They have been around forever. Again, if you would like to donate, check out their website. I think they're looking for monetary donations, not looking for food donations. But their website is accfb.org, or you can call them at 1-510-635-3663. Seeing a lot of folks in line for another thing that I was going to mention right here is the Three Cross Church, neighborhood church. They're at John Drive. You know the Three Cross Church. They have an extremely popular free drive-up food pantry Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. You will see the line going probably down the street to Castro Valley Boulevard for folks that are utilizing this wonderful resource in our community. Again, it's every Saturday, 9 a.m. They are also doing home delivery if you need that for folks with mobility issues or senior citizens. All you have to do is give them a ring and they will deliver to you. Their number is 510-560-3106. And of course, Three Cross Church located at 20600 John Drive. You can find them online at 3 crosses. That's CROSSES.org/care for more info. One more time, the number 3 crosses.org/care for more information. And our moderator will put that information in the chat for you, in addition to the information regarding the Alameda County Food Bank. And this is a tough, weird time. Please take care of yourselves, take care of your neighbors. Do not hesitate to let each other know that you care about each other. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to ask your neighbor, because there's no shame in asking for help. The number is 510-331-9112 if you wanted to discuss anything that we've been talking about. We've been talking about the grants, the PPP loans that are going out. We had a couple callers come in who had some awesome insights in regard to that topic. Sorry, I'm just looking at some of the comments coming in on chat here, and yeah, you guys are great. You guys always know stuff that I don't know, and that always comes up. Laura is mentioning that Hayward has the testing drive-through. I believe that is up at. I think they moved that up to Cal State East Bay. I keep wanting to call it Cal State Hayward, which it will probably always be. Someone is asking about updates on the stolen dog. I've heard nothing about that, but I hope that that dog is returned. The story is on the page. There's a Eden Hospital nurse. A dog was stolen from the side of her house. I think she lives in Concord. But what a terrible thing to do to one of our heroes at Eden Hospital. 7:50. We're almost an hour here. There was one last thing that I caught on the 17th a couple days ago, which was interesting. That is shelter in place related. UC Davis did a survey that just really is interesting. That apparently California car crashes and traffic is down by half during the shelter in place. And overall, this is saving the state $40 million a day, which is fascinating to me. I know there was something that I put out on the page a while back about seeing people speeding. I haven't really seen that so much anymore. I am seeing a lot of people doing donuts, turning tight ones in a lot of the intersections, which is not a good idea. But getting back to this UC Davis survey that they did, according to them, during the first 3 weeks of the shelter in place, which began March 20, the reductions saved the state an estimated $40 million per day, about $1 billion over the time period. And this was Road Ecology Center at the University of California, Davis. The report indicates that in parallel with the more than 50% reduction in traffic collisions and related injuries and deaths came a 55% reduction in traffic on some highways. There was apparently also a 40 to 50% decrease in trauma injuries for drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists, reporting among Sacramento area hospitals. Altogether, the reduction amounts to about 15,000 fewer collisions per month and 6,000 fewer injuries or fatal accidents per month that can be directly attributed to the shelter-in-place order. It just piqued my interest. If we want to find something good, I guess, about the shelter-in-place, that there's fewer traffic collisions and fewer fatal traffic collisions due to the significant reduction in cars out on the freeway and on the roads. That was the last thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. If you can, also please, if you can, go to the Red Cross website. If you could, if you feel inclined to schedule a time to donate blood, our moderator will find the American Red Cross website. We've mentioned that every time. Sharon is asking, are there CV businesses that are helping their laid off employees? That I don't know. I'm assuming if people are laid off, I would hope that they would be eligible for unemployment, which I think most of the folks that have been laid off are eligible for, I would hope. Adding on to that, you can probably go to most businesses that are closed. If you call them or try to reach out to them, you can buy gift cards at a lot of these businesses. I know the Chabot Theater is doing gift cards. We do have a large amount of restaurants that are still open for takeout. Please support them. Southern Comfort, JP's, I think Norman's Grill is doing takeout. Boulevard Burger is doing takeout. Please support these businesses in this time of need. A couple bucks and just seeing your face will probably do a world of good to their spirits during this troubling time. 510-331-9112 if you would like to ring in and talk about any of these topics, or if you have anything that we haven't brought up, you are more than welcome to bring them to our attention and for us to talk about it. Angela, who was our caller, said that Red Cross is set up to do antibody tests and receive plasma donations from those who have the antibodies as of May, which is good to know. So if our moderator would be so kind to find the Red Cross website, post that in the comments so you can, if you know already that you have those antibodies, you can donate your blood and help the research that they're doing. Christy mentions that Aaron's Art Studio has pottery to go, so I would probably call Aaron's and see. And let me just tell you, I've known Aaron for years. I love Aaron. Aaron does so much for the community behind the scenes. She genuinely loves Castro Valley, and like many of us do, support Aaron's. I'll ask our moderator. I'm giving our moderator a big job tonight, keeping him busy. If you could find Aaron's Art Studio, either website or the phone number for people to support Aaron's. And what better thing to do during the shelter in place if you have kids to, do some pottery, paint some pottery. Yes, support Aaron's. I'm sorry, I was trying to think of something. Something else crossed my mind, and then it completely got derailed. 510-331-9112 912. I see there's 26 people out there. You probably have a question or a comment, or maybe you just want to tell me to stop babbling. That would be completely acceptable. If you have something that you would like to bring up or a topic that we're not discussing, 510-331-9112. Can't stress enough the importance of just being connected with your neighbors and especially your family members. Give them a call, do a FaceTime, let your neighbors know you're there, you're watching, you want them to be well. If you go to the store, reach out and let your neighbors know. Say, hey, I'm going to the store. Can I pick something up for you? What do you need? What's going on? You guys doing okay? It's a lot of people getting cabin fever, like Angela mentioned. And fortunately, we're not at a point where we can't leave the house. We can go and and another thing that wasn't really discussed, but the face covering thing that came out from the county, I think it was last week. It's definitely a good idea to make yourself a face covering. Spare the masks, the real, the N90 masks for the hospitals. What I have been doing is taking the bottom part of a cut up T-shirt. So basically, you're just cutting the T-shirt, the bottom part, not above where the sleeves are, and just cutting that open so you have a long strip, and using a folded over blue shop towel, which you can get at any hardware. I think you can get them at O'Reilly's. You can get them at Pete's Hardware. Those are those blue shop towels. They're disposable, but they're super durable. You just fold that over, put it in the T-shirt, and wrap it in on your face tight. Make sure your nose and mouth are covered well, and you've got yourself a pretty decent mask. The masks. The ordinance for the mask, I think a lot of the discussion has been that it's for protecting others in case you have it. Using the blue shop towels, I think there's a certain degree of protection for you in that. I don't think it's a high percentage, but it's a good option. And the blue shop towels you can get them off Amazon too. I've ordered them from Amazon as well. But please cover your face if you go out. We don't know. We all don't know if we have this or not. So you'd be protecting other folks and preventing the spread. I will give you the phone number. Hey, got a call. And I know who this is. So, hey, Aaron.
Hey, Robert.
Hi, Aaron. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. You're healthy and things are going okay for you?
Thank God.
Thank goodness.
Yep.
So Christy mentioned that you are open for Pottery to Go. Give us some info on that.
Okay. So first of all, thank you. That was so cool of you to even mention it. I really appreciate it. We're not open, but we're at the studio. We do Pottery to Go, and we're doing Zoom art classes, which are really cool. And I'm hoping to do a lot more of them. And the Pottery to Go is just you go onto the website and go to the shop and you shop for whatever it is you need, and everything's included in it. And if you need brushes, you let us know, and that's the colors are included. We fire it when you bring it back, and then you can pick it up again. It's a couple of trips, but everybody loves getting out of the house and getting out and about, so that's really nice. They're functional pieces, and so far everybody that's been doing them is really enjoying being able to do art and really giving me like high fives on it. Of course, nobody can touch me, but so I've just been getting really good feedback from people. It's not. When the first day we started, it took off really, really well. And now it's just trickled down to, and I'm not complaining at all, because, this is hard on all of us. Not everybody can afford to, it's hard on all of us.
Yeah, very. So people.
Everybody's having hard times.
Definitely.
And I think a little bit, other people were doing art to go like this, and I thought, oh, that's the way to do it. I've got to do this. So I set it up. Well, actually, Christy and Jen set it up that we could have a shop online, and it's lovely, and it'd be really nice if anybody really feels the need to do some art and it really feels wonderful, please just go to my website and check it out. Help support me. I'm a small business.
What's the website?
That's it.
What's the website?
AaronsArtStudio.com. Aaron, A-R-A-N, AaronsArtStudio.com. A-R-A-N-S as in Sam, T-U-D-I-O, art. God, I don't even know. AaronsArtStudio.com. We'll put it on the, well, I can't because I'm talking.
We will. We'll put it, we'll put it in the chat. We'll put it in the chat. So it's AaronsArtStudio.com, and a lot. So it's low contact when they come and they get their thing, and when they bring it back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We are very, very careful, and we will. They just let us know that they're outside, and we come out if we put a glove on, and we come out and we hand it to them, and it's curbside pickup, and we're going to be starting delivery.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully soon. Close. I'm on a bike now. I don't ride my car anymore, but Christy wants to do deliveries, so probably after 5.
Okay.
Not every day, but certain days of the week.
And is there a phone number that people can call for information, or is it just a website?
Absolutely.
What's the phone number?
No, they can 510-728-1333.
So that's 510-728-1333. There you go. There you go. Get some art in your life, guys. That'll occupy your time during the shelter in place.
Yeah, the Zoom art classes are really cool. We have kids' night out on Saturdays. We have kids' night out one Saturday, tween night out the next Saturday, kids' night out the Saturday after. You can see it on the calendar on our website, all the different classes that we have coming up.
Okay.
And more to come, I hope. Thank you, Robert, so much.
Oh, Aaron, we've known each other for years. I love you. I love you.
I still have that piece of glass, Robert. Come and get it.
Okay, I will.
You can have it.
Okay, all right. You've given me so much over the years, Aaron.
Robert, I have some of the pictures left from when you would come with the question of the week.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And then I got boycotted from it.
Oh well, that's a different story. But I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you're doing well, Aaron, and it's good to hear you.
I see you riding around, so I'll wave next time.
I will too. I will too.
All right.
Thanks for calling, Aaron. Take care.
Oh gosh, thank you so much, Robert.
I'm
going to get online to watch you now.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Thanks, Christy.
So yeah, there you go. So Aaron's is doing curbside to go pottery, which is great. And I'm glad that Aaron called in, because I do see her shop closed, and I do wonder a lot how she is, and I'm very glad she's doing good. And with that said, I'll give you the number one more time, because I see there's still 23 people out there who might have a question or a comment or a topic that we haven't touched on. It is 510-331-9112. And I think from what I heard, I think there is there's going to be another update from the governor on Wednesday regarding the progress made on the 6 points that he's looking for and this is his term, the toggling of the restrictions. what I've been hearing, I don't think we're going to see the shelter in place lifted anytime soon from the comments that I've heard from the governor. I could be wrong. The situations at the hospitals and on the other levels maybe may have improved as such to where that might be a reality. I hope so, because we all are, for the lack of a better word, we're antsy to get back to some sort of level that is close to normal life. But again, I believe that will be at noon. I think it's usually noon where Newsom does his updates. We will. I'll let you know. I'm always watching those to see what is happening. But with that said, we're about an hour and 5 minutes into this episode, and I want to thank Mitch, Aaron, and Angela for calling in. And I want to thank everyone else who's listening, the people who are commenting. Everybody, stay strong and be there for your neighbors. Give them a call, shoot them a text, let them know that they are on your mind and that you still care. And we'll get through this. We got this. With that said, that is episode, gosh, we're already into episode 8 of these. These are fun. These are interesting, and it's great to hear from the community, and it's great to see your comments, and it's wonderful to hear your input. I am Robert, and with that said, when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. Thank you to everyone who called in. Thank you for everyone who participated. We will see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Take care of yourselves.